Kingdoms are sometimes built with nothing but the sword, but the sword is only the visible part. The real power lies in the dark, carefully designed system that lifts it. When we think of Rome, we picture legions, conquests, and triumphant marches. Yet Rome did not rule the world through war and battle alone. It ruled through debt, taxation, and the subtle manipulation of money. For Rome, war was not merely a military strategy. It was an economic force, and once that force was set in motion, it could not stop. Because for Rome, territorial expansion was not a choice. It was a necessity for the system's survival. We have seen this script before in history. The question is, are we living it again? In the early days of the Republic, the Roman army was simple. Citizens who owned land took up arms, went to war, and then returned home. It was a cheap and seemingly sustainable model. But as Rome expanded, wars grew longer. Frontiers moved farther away, and costs exploded. Farmers could no longer abandon their land for years at a time. Rome was forced to shift to professional soldiers, and a professional army meant wages. Wages required a constant flow of money. That was the turning point. Rome realized that war was not just an expense, it could be a source of revenue. New territories meant new taxes, new mines, new slaves. Conquest began to finance itself, but even that was not enough. During long and costly wars, Rome began borrowing from the wealthy elite. Senators and the financial aristocracy lent money to the state. This was not patriotism, it was investment. In return, they received interest payments, tax collection rights, and monopolies. War became a business. The more war there was, the more profit it generated. Over time, this model reshaped society. Generals gained political power. Senators became shareholders in violence. The state privatized its functions. Those who collected taxes, supplied the army, and managed logistics now worked for private interests. As expenses rose, the treasury emptied. Rome turned to the oldest trick in history, reducing the value of money. Silver coins were gradually diluted. Same face value, less metal. The outcome was inevitable: inflation, loss of trust, economic chaos. Meanwhile, the elites shifted their wealth into land, slave labor, and real assets. The population, however, was crushed by taxes, debased currency, and forced military service. Rome began to collapse not only militarily but financially. The system started consuming its own citizens. Expansion had stalled, but the debt remained. Now look around you. States live with permanent deficits. Wars are financed through borrowing. Central banks create money. The defense industry expands. Asset owners grow richer. Wage earners are crushed by rising prices. The names have changed. The tools have changed, but the mechanism is the same. Rome did it with the gladius. Modern empires do it with balance sheets. If Rome teaches us one thing, it is this: systems built on expansion are not infinite. One day, there is no land left to conquer. One day, paying interest on old debt requires new debt. And at that moment, the state turns inward against its own people. Higher taxes, more money printing, more control. Rome did exactly this. Bread and circuses kept the masses quiet while the elite protected itself. But the math did not change. The system could not continue. Today we are not at the same stage, but we are on the same path. The modern empire is not ruled by legions, but by capital flows. Yet war is still profitable. Debt is still a tool of power. Inflation is still a silent tax. And financial illusions still work. Until they don't. This knowledge is not meant to scare you. It is meant to wake you up. Because financial literacy is not just about making money. It is about seeing the system, understanding who profits and who pays. The next time you hear about a new crisis, a new conflict, or a new necessary expense, don't just watch the headlines. Follow the money. Follow the debt. History is clear about this. Empires do not fall when enemies break through the gates. They fall when the math stops working and no one dares to fix it. If you understand this, you are no longer playing the game blindly. And that is a rare advantage in any empire.